Curtis Jack's with us from Wilkes University men's lacrosse here on the John Mendola Show at McCarthy Tire Service. And Curtis, let's talk a little bit about preparing for the season. How long have you guys been getting after it, and the season's underway already?
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me. So we're 5 weeks into the season right now. 3-week beginning preseason went really well. It was cold. Definitely braved the weather out in the turf, and big shout out to the facilities for keeping that thing clear for us. Definitely made a big difference for us. So I feel like we're definitely trained for the cold weather here. And of course the weather's starting to break. So conditioning is good right now. Started off with our first 2 games against Scranton and Marywood. I'd say that we met our expectations against Scranton. Came a little bit short, hit a lull with Marywood, but got a lot to learn, and everything from here forward and through March is all preparing us for April. That's the ultimate goal here, is preparing us for conference.
Let's talk about bringing guys in and getting them prepared to play, and getting their feet wet a little bit here with college athletics. So
I pride myself in recruiting versatility. We've had a few guys bump around positions in the preseason, but I recruit 3 sport athletes. So a couple additions here, I think to start. A nice size addition is Garrett Armstrong, who's a 4-year letterman on the football team. Decided to come out for the team this year, senior for us, and definitely embracing multiple different roles. But when you're 6'4" and 205 pounds and built like he is, it's pretty simple to adjust. So we're excited about Garrett joining us. We have a few nice additions as well in the freshman class. Nico Lorenzo is certainly bringing a nice edge to the offensive side of the field for us. But all in all, preseason's going well, and looking forward to this next stretch of games here through end of February and March.
How about number-wise? Where are you at roster-wise, or where do you hope to grow this as the years go on at Wilkes?
We're 30 strong right now, and a healthy 30 strong, which is good. From year one, when we started with 20 young freshmen, last year we had 25 guys on the roster, and we're built up to 30 now. But we actually look like 30 men, and it's great to say that we have some vets. The game experience that the guys have that are currently seeing the field. They've seen the field quite a bit for the past 3 years, so it's nice to have that carryover from systematic stuff to communication-wise. It's nice to have that veteran status now.
Let's talk about the measuring stick. Some teams you're going to play this year, and obviously you want to be the best that you could be, but talk about some of these teams that maybe have a little bit more experience over the years or have had success as a program.
Mm-hmm. John, I'd say ignorance is bliss. I think that sometimes the fact that we are young and we don't know any better is a strength of ours. So I really don't compare ourselves to anyone. I don't have any measuring sticks outside of the things that we have control over as a program. When you look at our stats from year 1 to year 2, across the board, even from an individual standpoint, we saw increases across every board. From year 1 with 360 ground balls to year 2, 370 something ground balls. Our goal is to top that and to continue to grow within our own stats as a team and individually. I just want to compare ourselves to ourselves, and as of right now, we're bigger, faster, stronger than we were last year. We're better than we were last year. I hope to say that in 20 years.
Division III lacrosse, let's talk a little bit about what coaches like yourself, what are you looking for in an athlete? It's catching on around here, still behind a little bit on the younger level, but there's some programs that are starting. They're hoping to get some kids maybe to land at a D3 school or stuff. But your recruiting area is probably the whole Mid-Atlantic, right?
Yes, sir. So number 1 is going to be academics. It's the first cutoff for any student athlete. If you're not getting done in the classroom, it's going to be a tough go trying to balance both those things in college. So. But number 2 for me is the athleticism and the versatility, which comes from being a multi-sport athlete. I think that's most important. For me, I didn't pick up the sport till very late, but if it wasn't for football, basketball, baseball, turning all those different sports into the game of lacrosse, which I fell in love with later, in my athletic career. If it wasn't for those multi-sport experiences, I probably would have burnt out pretty early. So I think that recruiting multi-sport athletes also allows me as a coach to know that your better lacrosse is in front of you. When you're playing the sport all year round, guys tend to plateau a little early. They get burnt out from it. So I'll get off my soapbox here, but I think from a coach's perspective, being a multi-sport athlete is very important.
Curtis Jacks, we appreciate your time here at McCarthy Tire Service, and have a great season there at Wilkes.
Thank you very much, John. Appreciate it.
Mike Connor with us, an assistant coach with Wilkes University Men's Lacrosse here on the John Mendola Show. And Mike, take us through a little bit of your experience as a player.
So I came here from Wingate University down in North Carolina, Division II school. Last year we finished up winning our conference. Very big experience for me, just being able to play at such a good standard. Also ending number 5 in the country at the end of the year, then playing in the NCAA playoffs in the Elite Eight. Also back in 2012 I played with the Team England team in Finland, Turku, playing there in the World Championships. Then basically from there just kind of took my experience to come here. It's always something I wanted to do. I've been a big advocate for trying to grow the game across Europe, doing things with camps and running out clinics over in England. Just kind of wanting to do my part as much as I can to help the game that I love.
Position-wise, talk about your experience positionally, where you played, and now how you're kind of carrying that over here as a first-year coach.
So I was a goalie down at Wingate, kind of taking that specialist position that I know a lot of people don't really understand, taking pride in my position, kind of bringing that with me, understanding the game, doing my best to understand the position, not just as a playing standpoint, but also a coaching. I think it's very key to be able to play that position in order to understand and coach that same one. I think, especially from an empathy standpoint, understanding that what a goalie goes through mentally and physically is a key part to the game, which I know a lot of coaches who haven't played the position, who try and coach it, don't understand. I think just over the time that as I've grown stronger with coaching, I've coached other teams elsewhere, just working with goalies directly, going through the basic things, all the way up to the most advanced stuff. It's kind of just helped me grow as a player, but also a coach. And as I take that to Wilkes, having 2 young guys with similar size in Cody and Carter, I think those guys who didn't really have much coaching before, now it's helping their game benefit to become goalies that they can be.
About your relationship with Curtis Jacks here early on, the head coach, what's it been like to get to know a little bit about his style? And I'm sure he's learned some stuff from your style of what you played like and now what you're coaching.
Yeah, I think definitely it was straight away that once I kind of started speaking to him, it was kind of when I first started in the application process, it kind of made me understand exactly what was required of me, but I think we kind of hit it off straight away. I know when we did like the interview, it was supposed to be like 30 minutes and it ended up being like 2 hours long just because we ended up just talking about lacrosse for most of the time. I think the whole process though kind of started making me understand what was happening, what was expected of me, but then started to know what it was like to be an assistant coach and what it was to work with Curtis. Kind of started understanding his personality. Straight away he sent me a DISC personality test that kind of showed me exactly how he is, what for me to expect from him, but also how we can balance each other out and work off each other. I think so far, especially over the summer, going through the recruitment process, going through getting guys on campus, we do balance off each other and really work well together. But then also in the coaching standpoint, as we get into the season, we kind of see the personalities come out a lot more and see that what works well for me can kind of help coach, and then vice versa. He definitely helps me with a few things that I kind of have as weaknesses.
Let's talk about being a colonel, being on campus at Wilkes University, relating to the staff and the students, and of course your athletes there, and being a young guy, and how you think that kind of works out, because I'm sure you're very enthusiastic, and obviously they have to respect the level you played at.
Yeah, I think for me, like, the one thing that I came from was just a small private university down in North Carolina. just coming to that pretty much the same feel, just being in that same smaller environment where people know each other. It's not just you're a number within a huge university. I kind of like having that close-knit relationship with guys, whether they're on the team or whether they're off the team, just kind of being in a position where you know people when you walk past them. You don't just kind of see them on the street and that's it. I think a huge thing is just starting from the top down. You always see like President Leahy in the cafeteria. We also see him just around campus, just kind of having that feel of a small private university with personal relationships.
Coach, great to hear your story. I'm sure you have a lot to offer for the Wilkes University men's lacrosse team, and we thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Evan Stoliker is with us from the Wilkes University lacrosse team. He is a sophomore. And Evan, let's talk a little bit about what position you play there at Wilkes.
At Wilkes University, I am a FOGO. I do the face-offs and I get off. Everybody kind of knows their role, but I really have enjoyed it. I'm in my second season.
Let's talk about having that role. That's not an easy one. It's a physical one. Obviously, getting a draw. Talk about how important that is.
It really is important. Without the ball, obviously, we can't score. It's been a really big help having Coach Connors there at the positional, helping us out this year and letting us grind out alongside with Copley and Alex. We all push each other to be the best that we can be, and I'm really excited to see where we can take it this season.
Let's go back to high school and growing up and playing lacrosse. Take us through when you first picked up a stick and where you call home.
I'm from Baldwinsville, New York. It's upstate, near Syracuse. I started playing, I want to say in about 5th grade, so at a young age. My whole family was kind of into it and always were athletes growing up, so when I said that I wanted to try lacrosse, they immediately were supportive. From there, I played on my high school team at Baldwinsville. We actually went to the sectionals and played in the Dome. We lost, but it was still an amazing experience. And then from there, I also played on travel teams with Orange Crush under the Syracuse coaches and a bunch of others as well.
Talk about the physicality. The more you watch men's lacrosse, of course, maybe growing up, you say you started about 5th grade, you're watching, and I'm sure as time goes on, you're saying, I'm kind of liking this a little bit more to get a little bit more physicality. Talk about what it's like here at Wilkes and the teams that you're facing with that.
Yeah, I think what kind of made me choose that position was I came from, I played football pretty much my whole life. So the physicality there, I kind of just morphed that in with my lacrosse stance and just that firing off and that feeling of making that first impression when you're on the field and really setting the tone for the game is it's addictive. You love that, so that's what I live for.
You guys do some fun stuff other than lacrosse off the field. Talk about some get-togethers with the guys and just hanging out.
Yeah, so we do every year we do karaoke with all the freshmen and everybody. We kind of join in, so that's a really good icebreaker to get everybody comfortable with the team. Also over spring break, we did paintball at skirmish as a team, so that was good getting to shoot up Coach a bit.
Well, you have a brother, Aaron, who's 23. Tell us what he's up to.
He's living in Boston. He works for DCL, it's a sign company. His ultimate goal, though, is to work for Universal Studios and design and implications. So.
And, of course, that could be a goal down the road for you. Talk about what you're thinking about heading back to Florida.
Yeah, I'm working on an internship for next summer. Working down there in the event and entertainment industry.
Awesome to hear. You're doing a great job with the books, 3.8 and business management. So let's talk about your brother and how he inspires you and different things, whether you talk to him all the time or think about the growth that he's going to do in his profession that inspires you.
Mm-hmm. All I can remember is during school he was always pushing me and trying to make me do my best. He went to Cornell, so that was kind of a big mindset for me, was that I wanted to succeed academically first, and then being able to continue my lacrosse career here at Wilkes was just the icing on the cake.
Well, Evan, great to hear from you. We wish you the best both on the field and, of course, in the classroom. Keep it going as well.
Thank you.
Nick Ruggiero is with us. He's a senior for the Wilkes University men's lacrosse program. And Nick, tell us a little bit about your lacrosse background.
So I started playing lacrosse in 3rd grade. My sister was playing and I figured I'd pick it up. I also was playing football, I was wrestling, my dad always encouraged me to be athletic. So we had a pretty good little elementary team. We went all the way up to high school, so I've been playing for a while. I really have been enjoying it.
Talk about your position out there for Wilkes.
Yeah, so I'm playing midfield right now. There's like 6 of us. It's pretty a hard position being kind of a heavier guy, but it's fun to get around and be able to dodge from up top and take shots.
How about the roster right now? Coach said around 30 guys. What kind of talent have you seen this year so far? Early, a couple games under your belt. You guys have been hitting the practice for about a month. What have you seen?
We might not have a whole ton of guys, but we have a lot of guys with a lot of heart, and we have a lot of freshmen with a lot of heart also. And Nico Lorenzo, he's a really good freshman. He's starting midfield with me, so I think we've been getting a lot of chemistry together, and it's kind of nice to see that our team is growing and that we don't need 60 guys on the sideline, and what we have is pretty much what we have, but we make the best of it.
That sister you were telling us about earlier, Gabriella, she's 25 now, so tell us what she's up to.
So she graduated from undergrad from Stockton in New Jersey. Right now she's been working in East Brunswick at a hospital. She's trained to be a physician assistant, and she's going to be going back to grad school pretty soon. She has her applications out.
Communications major yourself, hoping to maybe get into that public relations field. Talk about what you're looking forward to, because it's right around the corner here.
Yeah, so I did an internship over the summer with a sports management company, and I did some PR in there. I'm also a board member for Zebra Communications, which is a PR agency where it's student run, so I've been getting a lot of experience in there, and I'm hoping to enter the field and maybe an agency kind of helping out maybe sports-minded companies, help sponsor and do some advertisements, stuff like that.
Let's talk about one of your role models here, your dad, and what he does to inspire you and why you look up to him.
So my father, he's a really hard worker. He gets up at like 2 in the morning. He goes out, he drives a truck. He does some like deliveries and stuff like that. So it kind of motivates me I can't complain for waking up for an 8 a.m. class or maybe an 8 a.m. practice, and I could just go out and get my stuff done, and there's no excuses.
And then I'm sure he's able to get to some games that you have. So talk a little bit about the support you get there and having family or friends come out and watching you play.
Yeah, it's nice. He can't make all of them, but when he is there, it's really nice because he's the loudest guy on the sideline. So I'll hear him. He's really motivating me, and he's always telling me how to get better. And he knows the sport pretty well, so he's able to kind of decipher what was wrong and what I could do better and stuff like that.
And how about just hanging out with the guys? We talked with one of your teammates. The karaoke thing sounds like fun, but how about some other fun off-the-field stuff that you guys could get to?
Yeah, so in the previous years, sometimes on snow days, we go out and have a little pickup game of football, or we also do like team dinners. We have everyone over the house on like Fridays, or maybe before a game, watch some film. We play a lot of Xbox, so we're just out kind of competing even when we're not on the field.
How about the other Wilkes University, whether it's students or athletes supporting each other? Maybe you get to a basketball game or you see some wrestlers come out to your game, or football players, or vice versa. What's that been like?
It's pretty nice. We went to one of the basketball games, and they're really competitive, and we're always there to support them. We also have been seeing a lot of kids on the sidelines, maybe from the football team, coming out, and they're really here to support us.
All right, Nick, well, great to hear your story, and we wish you the best in the public relations field.
All right, thank you.
Nico Lorenzo joining us from Wilkes University men's lacrosse here at McCarthy Tire Service in Wilkes-Barre. And Nico, you're a freshman, so what's your experience been like early on here, a couple games under your belt?
I've loved it so far. I've been fortunate enough to get a lot of playing time so far, and the team's great to play with. It's just an overall fun experience.
Talk about the hometown and when you first picked up a stick.
I am from Howell, New Jersey. It's about 10 minutes from the beach in Central Jersey, because it is a thing. I picked up a lacrosse stick in 5th grade because my cousins, who actually live in Ohio, played. And I played baseball and basketball for years before that, and lacrosse quickly took over. And while I still played them for a few more years, lacrosse that's where my heart was, and that's where I continue to play.
You toured, I'm sure, a few colleges and said, okay, I got to find the right place. It sounds like Wilkes is the right place for you. Talk about academically. You're doing a great job in your first semester. Here we are into semester number 2, so you're able to handle that load and figure out the time management thing?
Absolutely, yeah. I did a very good job last semester, and I'm proud of what I earned, and well, that's really it.
All right. Okay. When you're pulling off the 4.0, that's not easy to do ever. You do it in your first semester. Impressive. Mechanical engineering. Talk about that.
Mechanical engineering. I got it from my dad. My dad he worked in computer IT, and for about 20 years. And when I was little, I used to see him open up computers, crack them open, and just fix them, and it just amazed me. And then I'd see him my mom, oh, this broke. My dad, half hour later, an hour later, oh, it's good again. And I always just liked that. I always liked watching him fix things.
Are you able to do that?
I am able to do that, actually. I have a lot of tools in my room because of that. Wow. My dad has trained me to use a lot. I have worked all around the house, all carpentry, all that kind of thing.
Well, it looks like Wilkes is going to have a guy for 4 years that they're going to go to. You'll be able to make a living, I'm sure, fixing people's stuff, right? Well, let's talk a little bit about your position out there on the field with lacrosse.
I am basically at any point on the offensive side of the field. I'll play midi, attack, lefty, righty side. It doesn't matter. Just on the field, on the offensive side, that's okay with me.
You got two siblings, Natalie and Nathan. Tell us what they're both up to.
My sister Natalie, she is a year older than me, a sophomore at Hofstra University. That's in Long Island, and she is doing music business, and she's loving it there. It's good to hear that she's doing well over there. And my little brother Nathan, he plays every sport. He's a wrestler, he's a baseball player, basketball player, lacrosse player, and he looks up to me a lot, and it stinks to have to leave him, but he's got to live his own life too. So
let's talk about that foundation for you from mom and dad. You talked a lot about what dad did, and talk about being role models for you, and you being able to have a successful first year here at Wilkes, and hopefully a career to follow in the engineering field.
Well, first of all, if it weren't for my parents, I wouldn't be able to be here at all. So I am eternally grateful to them, and they have somehow given me everything I have ever wanted, and they have treated me well. My mom is a really hard worker, along with my dad. My dad, I already went through him, but my mom works long hours every day, and she's driving everywhere. She's crazy. I call her super mom.
That's awesome to hear. And as far as them getting out to support you at games?
They've made it to all of my games so far, and it's cool to see, because in high school I always had them to talk to after the game and just recap what I can do better, just talk about things about the game. And now I can still have that a little bit, at least for the first few games.
Well, I'm sure they're quite proud of you with that great first semester, the 4.0 at Wilkes, doing great stuff as a freshman on the field already. Bright future for you, Nico. Thank you.
Thank you.